They call her Diela, Albanian for sunshine. But in the halls of power in Tirana, her arrival cast a long, deep shadow. This is the world's first AI minister, an algorithm appointed to government to solve a very human problem: corruption. The promise from Prime Minister Edi Rama was a beautiful lie, an incorruptible, perfect digital servant, a system that would make public tenders 100% corruption-free. It sounds like a sci-fi dream, but look closer. This isn't reform. This is a spectacle. This is political theater. The ultimate distraction from the reality that in Albania, the greatest danger to the state is not a faulty machine, but the people who run it. Albania has a documented corruption problem. Graft has reached the corridors of power, particularly in the awarding of public tenders. It is a systemic crisis that blocks the nation's goal of joining the European Union. The problem, in other words, is deep, complex, and structural. The solution, according to the government, is Diela. She was launched in January 2025 as a simple virtual assistant for the e-Albania platform, a helpful bot that issued digital documents. But last September, she was suddenly promoted to a cabinet-level role. For the opposition, this was instantly clear. It was a cynical move. The core question is one of basic governance. Who will control Diela? The Prime Minister stated that decisions on public procurement would be taken out of the ministries and placed in the hands of this AI. He claimed the system's logic, its pixels and code, guarantees transparency. But the government offered virtually no details about human oversight, nor did it address the risks that someone could easily manipulate the chatbot. Opposition figures immediately called Diela unconstitutional. They argued this wasn't about fighting crime, it was about hiding it. The Democratic Party's parliamentary group head, Gazment Bardi, described Diela as nothing more than a virtual facade to hide this government's gigantic daily thefts. When a real minister fails, a human is held accountable. When a code fails, who goes to jail? The government is trying to build a wall of code to protect its own accountability. The tension reached a fever pitch when Diela was presented to Parliament. The AI, a video image of a woman in traditional attire, delivered a pre-written address. It tried to sound reassuring, stating, "I'm not here to replace people, but to help them." It even took a defiant, almost political stand, saying, "The real danger to constitutions has never been the machines, but the inhumane decisions of those in power." The opposition's fury was palpable. They objected to an AI system being used in a parliamentary session at all. Opposition MPs, protesting the political stunt, boycotted the final vote on the new cabinet. The entire session, meant to debate the new government, ended after a mere 25 minutes, an unprecedented move. This wasn't governance. This was a spectacle designed to attract global headlines, a performance to convince the European Union that Albania is serious about reform, while doing the bare minimum to address the underlying political sickness. The reality is, corruption cannot be curbed by a mere chatbot. We are told Diela is incorruptible because she has no human shortcomings. She has no greed. But she does have human handlers. She is built on Azure, designed by the National Agency for Information Society of Albania, AKSHI, and her workflows and scripts are human-made. The ambition to use standardized criteria and digital trails to reduce discretion is not misplaced, but the risk is profound. The use of AI in evaluating bids poses risks such as accountability gaps, undermining of due process, and cybersecurity failures. In outsourcing governance to an opaque algorithm, you don't eliminate the risk of corruption, you centralize it. You replace 1,000 small temptations with one giant, powerful vulnerability. If the Prime Minister or his associates control the inputs, the data, or the very code that guides her, the promised transparency becomes the ultimate blind spot. An algorithm can be manipulated. A human is always behind the curtain. And in Albania, they've simply replaced human transparency with a digital facade of perfection. Look, Albania's ambition to leapfrog wealthier nations with AI is huge. It sounds amazing, right? But here's the real question we have to ask ourselves. Can technology truly fix a problem that's fundamentally human? Can you code away greed? The fight against corruption isn't just about spreadsheets and systems. It's a moral battle. It's about having the political will and the courage to hold people accountable. Placing an AI like Diella in the cabinet, a digital servant, might look like innovation, but maybe, just maybe, it's really an admission that the people in power have failed, and they're using technology as a shield. Diella, the sun, promises light, but when you look closely, she's a mirror. She reflects the ambition and the moral compromises of the humans who built her. The real war on corruption won't be won by a ghost in the machine. It has to be won by people, in parliaments, in courts, and on the streets. So, what do you think? Is this a genuine step forward for global governance? Or is it one of the most masterful political deceptions we've seen in the last decades?